Hey guys, Rexasaur here, and welcome to Patch Notes on today, Tuesday 29th of April. I almost said August, that's not right. April 2025. It's a bit of a late Patch Notes because I completely forgot, I'm going to be really honest. So, yeah, that's why you're getting this a little later than you usually would. In any case, you got last week earlier, so really it's all panned out correctly. It's been a week. Quite a lot of things happened in last week. Last week was a bank holiday after all, so a lot of stuff did happen. I'm going to look at my calendar so I can figure out what happened. Yes, so last week, Monday, we had D&D. There was a big dragon encounter, which the players basically just talked their way out of it. They solved the puzzle. Good job, guys. So there was no dragon fight. But they completed the puzzle, they freed the dragon, and they went along their merry way with lots of cool stuff, but not any loot, because one of the reasons why they didn't fight the dragon is that they were like, we're not going to pick any of the loot in this room, which is unusual, but well, they didn't get killed, so I guess that's a positive. And then yesterday, which was also a Monday, they had their other session where they returned to their ship, and we had a nice chill session because we were 2 players down. So, yeah, just a chill roleplay, kind of just moving on to the next area. On the Tuesday, I went up to Merthyr to play Richard for Warhammer. He was using his updated new list, which worked really well. I played High Elves for the first time ever, and my list was not something that it was something that I had kind of built myself, so I hadn't looked at anything. And for the most part, it worked. I screwed myself over in deployment, and he capitalized on a lot of my weaknesses very quickly. So I have updated that list, not significantly, but enough that should be a little bit more competitive now. And I will be playing him on next Monday, which is another bank holiday. So we will be doing. I'll be playing that renewed list. I think I'm going to keep with that list for a bit, which has quite a few changes, and he is using a updated list again because he's made a few changes since he played me, and then on the next day he played someone else. So he's got a bit more tweaks, but we are heading into the tournament very shortly. Next patch notes will be the tournament, the one before the tournament. So, yeah, that's going well. So I have not been painting up anything because I'll be doing something else, and that will come later. But yeah, so we did a bunch of that. So that was Tuesday. That was Warhammer. That was good fun. And then back to work for 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On the Wednesday we had Vaesen, where we were doing our offshoot kind of mystery, which was a lot of fun. We were both playing more roguish characters in the scheme of like Victorian London, so quite criminal-y but not really, kind of exploitative but also poor downtrodden, kind of had rough upbringing kind of characters. So we had a good dynamic going, we had a lot of fun. And the mystery in itself is not super. I mean, there's a possibility of death at any point in that game, but it feels like we kind of have a handle on things. What's nice is that we know what we need to do, and how we just trying to figure out how to do it is basically the only issue. So, yeah, it should be okay. So the next session for that is not going to be for a little while. I think 1 week or 2. I think we're skipping a week. I can't remember. Yeah, we are definitely skipping a week. So. Fun times. That was a really good session, and just a really good time to hang out with the friends. So, yeah. Thursday, don't think we did anything. Friday, I can't remember. So it was obviously really important. 26th was the Saturday. I went out with some friends, which was just really nice. I went to my first. It was an afternoon tea. So for all you non-Brits out there, like me, basically you go to a tea room and they serve you sandwiches and cakes and scones and tea. and it was very good. I enjoyed myself greatly, and it was also very good value for money in terms of the quantity of stuff you get for the price you got it. And as someone who doesn't particularly like tea, I'm not a tea drinker, I got myself an iced tea, which I think is probably the type of tea that I'm more likely to drink, and it was a nice fruity one, so it was good. And then the sandwiches were really good, and the cakes were really good. And the company was even better. So there we go. It was good fun. So definitely very British, quintessentially British, some would say. So it was interesting to witness and partake in that for the first time in my life, considering I've been living here for over 25 years. It's interesting it's taken that long to happen. So yeah, no, it was good. That was a good Saturday. And then on Saturday, I then went to Firestorm on my way home and got myself a new army. That's right, I can't help myself. I have been building up, well, this is a decision that I've been making over the last few weeks. I think there was a discussion because both Aaron and Andrew have been getting themselves into Horus Heresy. Aaron's been in it for a while, but Andrew's been getting into Horus Heresy, and I know that it's a system that I'm probably going to enjoy more than regular 40k. So I was looking at what army I could play, and I wanted an army that I can play in both systems, 40k and Horus Heresy. So I decided to go with the Adeptus Custodes. So I went to Firestorm and got myself the Combat Patrol and a few other units just to start, and I've been building them basically for the course of this week and weekend, ready for Friday, where I will be facing Andrew. We're going to do a smaller game, 1,500 points. He's going to be playing, and it'll be 40k, not Horus Heresy, but he's going to be playing his Imperial Guard, and I'll be playing my Custodes, and we'll see how that goes. The other reason why I picked this faction was not only because it could be used in both, it was also kind of, it's the next tier up, I guess, in 40k. So both Space Marines and Tyranids, they're kind of like mid in terms of difficulty to play. So you can get away with a lot, especially Marines are quite easy to play really. But there are elements of, when you're playing a more competitive level, there is still that kind of like things you need to be aware of, things you need to use and utilize to your advantage to get that advantage. So I feel like I've got a good grasp of it with both NIDs and Marines, especially with the NID list that I've got at the moment. The Assimilation Swarm list is very, very broken, really. It's not broken, but it's very strong. And it doesn't really require that much mental energy. You kind of know what you're doing. There's a little bit of iffy movement here and there, but I feel like I got a good grasp on it. So I wanted to play a army that was a bit more what's the word I'm looking for, like involved. So this is Custodes is seen as being a very especially, well, mostly at competitive level, as being a very high skill ceiling army, because it's all about it's very much about maneuvering and movement and using your abilities when they need to be used. And if you don't, you are going to struggle. But if you do, it's going to pay dividends a lot. So I don't expect that's what's going to happen on Friday. I'm going to make a bunch of mistakes, and I'm sure Andrew will too, because this is a new army for both of us. Not only Custodes in general, but Andrew's Imperial Guard. He's played probably less than 10 games, I believe, with them. So it'll be an interesting game, I think, for both of us. I still don't really know what Imperial Guard are good at. I've only played against them twice, so yeah. But it'll be interesting and enjoyable, I think. And let's just see how they play. I already have quite a actually, with the amount that I've bought, which is not a lot, it's actually enough to build me almost a 2000k force. So that 1500 I think I've managed to get quite comfortably. I am going to be using a single proxy for this game, mostly because there's no way that Custodes vehicles are very expensive, and there is no way I'm going to have one in time. So I'm going to be playing I'm going to be just one proxy of a Dreadnought, because but at least everything else will be right. They won't be painted. They might be primed, because it's going to be quite hot this week. So time for Friday, I'll be able to prime at least some of them, if not all, that I've got. So anyway, that's what I've been doing in terms of my Warhammering. And I think I wanted to do a bit more 40k sort of sci-fi, because I've been doing a lot of fantasy old world, and with preparation of the tournament, I'm kind of in a mindset of I just want to focus on something to get my mind away from the tournament, because I've already got my list, I already know what I'm going to be playing, I already know how to play it. It's just going to be a case of when I'm there, then I can be fully involved. But right now I'm helping Richard and Cameron with their lists, and that's all I really want to do, which is also why I'm playing High Elves and not my Chaos Force, because I wanted a little bit of a distraction, something to change, because I'm going to be playing full Chaos for 5 games, basically just talking about my army throughout the entirety of the tournament. So, taking a side step with that. That's what happened on Saturday. And then Sunday we had our D&D discussion, the session 0, just discussing how the session and the campaign is going. And I think we had a very productive discussion about that. It was mostly me talking, but I think I cleared the air a lot about what my intentions was with the campaign and where the players stand with that. And I think there was also a little bit of discussion between the players as well about certain things that had happened, and it was just nice to air it all out so that we can move on and have a really good time going forward. Unfortunately, that won't be until June, because for reasons, everyone is busy, and mostly I am busy throughout the entirety of May, so I will not be doing any D&D on the Sundays. Thankfully, I still have my Monday session, although my Monday sessions are obviously not... the Sunday session is something that I've been playing for over 3 years at this point, so it's something that is very dear to my heart, and missing out on a whole month of it is very bittersweet. But I am doing other things which are going to be fun, including things like the Warhammer tournament, hanging out with my in-laws and things like that. So it is important things that I'm happy that I'm doing. But obviously it comes at the cost of a D&D campaign, which I very much enjoy and do. On the plus side, I still have my Monday D&Ds for the most part. I don't foresee that I'll be cancelling that many of them. There's probably going to be 1 or 2 that I won't be able to do, but for the most part that'll still be going on. It's a very inherently different campaign, which I realised maybe 3 weeks after I started redoing that one on the Monday. But it's not something I don't enjoy, it's just very different, which means that my prep is different, and requires a bit more of a mindset change when I'm doing prep for that campaign. But for the most part, it's very enjoyable. We had a very good session yesterday. It was very enjoyable, and I feel like it's going well. I don't know what the timeline is, but based on what I've got planned, I feel like it's going to be the kind of half a year to a year max, depending on what the players decide to do. But I started with the idea of knowing what the big, there's 3 big things that'll happen in this campaign, and that's not happened. None of them have passed, but I know kind of what to expect for them. So, in any case, that is that. That is a lot of D&D talk. Another big thing happened, obviously, last week for a lot of people around us. The Oblivion remaster was released, to many surprises. Everyone thought it was just going to be kind of a cheeky reveal, but it was a full release, and it took 3 days for me to finally bite the bullet and get it, because I've been seeing a lot of things online, and for the most part I've been really enjoying it. Oblivion is a game that I have never completed or played beyond maybe level 20, mostly because I only really was able to play it at my friend Josh's house when we were kids. And then when I had access to my own PC and things like that, Skyrim was out, and that was kind of the thing to play. So I've got numerous thousands of hours in Skyrim. But Oblivion was never a game that I really understood and got really into. And the one time that I did I think I did a playthrough on my YouTube channel for a bit. It was kind of mostly because the technology was a bit shit. I'm going to be honest, it wasn't. I was so used to Skyrim that the difference is kind of But the remaster, now that I'm playing it, I'm older, so I'm a bit wiser to change the mechanics and things, and I kind of understand how Oblivion works. And the mechanical changes which the remaster has been given is definitely much nicer to play and interesting, and I've been really enjoying it. And I think I realised that this remaster was going to be much nicer to play as soon as I saw that you can damage ghosts without the need for magic or silver weapons, which is something that completely caught me off guard in the original. And I think a lot of people haven't discussed this point in the remaster, because I think everyone's forgotten that was a thing. But there was in the original Oblivion, you could only damage ghosts and other apparitions with silvered weapons, and by God, that was so difficult to get through back in the original. But that's not a problem anymore. So, hey ho, good for me. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. That's all I got. That's pretty much all I've got, actually. So thank you very much for watching. Next will be in May, I think. Oh God, we will be in May. Look at me. This year's going so fast. It's crazy. And it'll be a bank holiday, so it's very likely that I'm busy actually on the Monday. You might still get a patch note on the Tuesday instead. But yeah, that's basically it. So I hope that everyone's having a good time, enjoying Oblivion if that's what you're playing, or enjoying whatever else you're doing if that's what you're doing. And I will talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.